ज्योतिष का ज्ञान यह रे रहस्य Astrology's knowledge deep as sea नक्षत्र कहानियाँ कहता यहाँ Constellations tell their stories to thee कुंडलिनी जगाओ आत्मा जागृत करो Awaken Kundalini, let your spirit rise ऊर्जा भीतर से बहती है Energy flows from deep inside
Okay, welcome to the Astrological Tarot Report for the week of November 18th, 2024. And we have a couple of interesting things to start off with here. This first aspect, Mercury opposition Jupiter, happens at 18 degrees in Sag and Gemini. And you have an air sign and a fire sign. So the Eight of Wands will be the 18th degree of Sagittarius, and then at the 18th degree of Gemini, we have the Eight of Swords. So Jupiter expanding this feeling of constriction. It's interesting, expanding rather than, we're talking about expanding something rather than constricting, but it's going to expand something that feels constricting. So the Eight of Swords being a constricting sign, it's the image of a woman tied up in this kind of a loose ribbon, which is interesting because it's more like self-constriction, self-imposed circumstances. And then you have your Eight of Wands, which wants to fly out and away, wants to move quickly, rapidly. That's a very communicative tarot card of the Minor Arcana. So that's going to be a very mercurial thing in and of itself. We want to communicate a lot. We want to speak rapidly. We want to engage with others, get our ideas across rapidly. However, we might feel constrained to do so. We might feel conflicted, like we can't communicate these ideas for whatever reason. Okay, so that's going to be the energy of that first sign, that first aspect. Next aspect, also on the 18th, Moon opposition Venus. We have a sense of devotion and duty with the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles. So this opposition falls within 8 degrees of Cancer, the Moon does, and Venus falls within 8 degrees it's at 8 degrees of Capricorn. So this is kind of a balance between the duty, between familial devotion and also institutional devotion. So there may be some sort of conflict that arises between your sense of duty to your family versus sense of duty to your job or your career. So maybe that's, hey, you got to stay late for work, or you might choose one over the other. So that can definitely happen. So yeah, very, very much on the end of something that could feel like it's holding you back towards being filled, or maybe you decide that something is going to be better for you in terms of sticking with the structure. That being the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of, Capricorn, the side of Capricorn in and of itself. So kind of maybe a balance between finding fulfillment that is not necessarily so selfish, because Capricorn can be about selfishness. And then with the 10 of Cups, however, that being in the sign of Cancer, representing the Cups, we can kind of decide, hey, I really want something that fulfills me, but I'm not worried about either the institution or this family, or my family in this particular case. It really depends on where your emotions are at. It's not really going to be based on too much ration or logic. It's going to be based on primal desire, being a Capricorn energy, and also emotional energy being Cancer energy. And especially with that moon in there, definitely very emotional. So keep your eyes on that. Keep that in the back of your mind. Think about that for tomorrow and see how that plays out internally with you and also externally, because it will manifest in the physical plane, being that it has to do with Capricorn. So not just an emotional sensation, but yeah, definitely a conflict perhaps between family and business. So I would keep an eye out for that. All right, so next aspect is Sun trine Neptune. It's a very interesting combination of energies, having the fact that these are both water signs, though where they fall in their degree placement gives us um, kind of a melancholy type of energy. We have the Five of Cups, and then we have the Eight of Cups. So we're looking at essentially kind of moving on from something, leaving something behind that's sad. So in a way, it can become positive, and it is more positive, I would say, because of the Sun energy, the Sun trining Neptune. So it's a deeply emotional thing, but it can become a little bit easier for us with this aspect of this energy. So being in Scorpio, it's kind of the ending of something, and the sun in itself is a renewal energy. So it's a transformational energy, moving on from something and then starting anew. So leaving behind things that don't necessarily serve us, perhaps. That's kind of the energy we're looking at, and we're going to leave behind some sort of sad thing, maybe something that's plaguing us or bothering us for a while. It can be any number of things really that have to do with sadness or depression. Um, but then the Eight of Cups is kind of that spiritual journey where we're moving on to something new, or finding things that serve us better. So let's leave it at that for now. It'll become apparent more easily just because of the fact that it's a trine. So it won't be a too difficult thing. It doesn't seem like here. Okay, our next aspect here is the Moon trine Saturn. Moon at 12 degrees Cancer, Saturn 12 degrees Pisces. This is going to be also about getting over something, perhaps, and it can be about leaving behind a relationship, maybe something that no longer serves us. The Cancer energy in Pisces, of course, very emotional. We have the 12 degrees Cancer and the 12 degrees Pisces end up giving us two cup cards. We have the Five of Cups and the Two of Cups. So Two Cups being a very good card in terms of relation of emotions. But then we have the Five of Cups, which is sadness, disappointment. So it can be about some sort of disappointment in a relationship. But it's not so bad because it is a trine. It makes things a little bit easier for us, some smoother. Perhaps we notice something about our loved ones that we can kind of go easy on them for something. It's not necessarily a big deal. It's something that's not too much of a problem. So keep your eyes open for something that happens like that. And it won't affect you too much in terms of negatively with your emotional energy here. Although it is a very emotional experience in general, maybe something you could be more emotionally aware of rather than reacting to it in a negative way. And kind of letting it slide off your shoulders and being more understanding of your partner or whatever the relationship situation might be. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It can be whatever type of interpersonal relationship. But that's kind of where it's at right now. And then the whole idea of Saturn, that is more physical. It can be more about business. It can be maybe some sort of habit. So it could be a relationship with a habit too. It could be that. But keep your eyes open for something that feels like that or sounds like that. Moving on from the 19th to the 20th of November, we have another very watery aspect, the Moon trine Neptune. Moon at 27 degrees Cancer, Neptune at 27 degrees Pisces. We have the Two of Cups again, as well as the Eight of Cups. So in this particular situation where we have this relationship, this interaction, hopefully it's a chance for healing rather than separation. However, the Eight of Cups does perhaps say that it's something we're moving away from for something that will better serve us. And that Moon Neptune energy, very deep, very transformational, emotionally speaking, something that's going to affect us deeply. So it can be pretty big, but again, the trine can be something that's easier for us, can feel better. So if we do move on from something, just know that it will probably likely be better for us in the end. All right, so we have the Sun trine the Moon, Sun at 28 degrees Scorpio and Moon at 28 degrees Cancer. It's a very nice combination of energies. We have the Three and Six of Cups. So it's kind of a party of an affectionate nature in terms of we're off giving something of ourselves to other people. It's a kindness, it's a generosity, it's a very good blending of energy. We'll be giving, maybe giving a party for a friend, or it could be maybe something at work, a work gathering, an artistic gathering. So maybe go to some sort of art event, an art gallery party or something. Who knows? But it is going to be a nice blending of energy in which something of generosity from the heart is exchanged. So expect good feelings, expect good interactions with others. Okay, our next aspect here, Moon opposition Pluto. Moon 0 degrees Leo and Pluto 0 degrees Aquarius. This is one of those aspects we want to watch out for sure. We have the Five of Swords and the Five of Wands. Five of Wands is already about conflict, and then the Five of Swords is kind of the aftermath of the conflict and trying to salvage what you can. So this can definitely spark an argument, some sort of, can be a physical altercation or verbal. So just watch out for confrontational people, or to make sure that you're not confrontational if you can avoid it. So it's one of those aspects where it can have some explosive consequences very quickly. Pluto being about judgment and yeah, so judging others and getting into conflict of some sort. Try not to do it. Let the energy slide over. Use it for better things. You know, maybe it's picking up something, cleaning up something. You know, that's the Five of Swords. We can pick stuff up and take what we need and do something else with it. And we can try and do that with the whole of this energy altogether, and have it and avoid having it become a real conflict. So try and leave it at that if you can, and use the energy positively. Pluto being about transformation, anyways, as the card of judgment. Next aspect for the 20th, which will be our last one for this particular day, we have Moon conjunct Mars, giving us the Nine of Wands at 4 degrees Leo. So yes, Moon and Mars conjunct at 4 degrees in Leo. And it's an energy of watching, waiting, standing strong, standing tall, holding your ground, leading through experience. So maybe there's some old wounds that may come to light, and yeah, we'll kind of just need to feel them out, because the moon is about this feeling energy, and Mars is about taking action. So if we feel there's an issue, we might want to take action on the issue, especially when it comes to health. That can be something very important for us. Leo in general, the energy of strength, the strength card. Also using our heart, using our intuitive strength, as it will, to kind of figure out what we need to do with this energy, what we need to do to heal. But other than that, yeah, it's kind of being on guard. So that Mars energy being on guard and being protective of ourselves, perhaps even others. But we kind of have that knowledge with the nine reminding us also the Hermit. But the Knight of Wands in this case is strength through experience. And yes, Leo, the strength card. So strength through experience kind of resonates pretty deeply with this aspect, the Moon conjunct Mars. All right, so the next aspect we'll be looking at is on November 22nd. We'll not be looking at the 21st. There's not really any other major aspects to consider. There are a few sextile aspects, but we'll be sticking with the trines for this report. So for the Moon trine Mercury, that will occur at 21 degrees Leo for the Moon and 21 degrees Sagittarius for Mercury. So then we have what gives us the Two of Wands and the Eight of Wands at those degree placements. The Two of Wands is a card about portals, in a way, or passing through worlds. It can be about separating oneself from something, or also kind of evaluating your domain. Then you have the Eight of Wands, which we talked about a little bit earlier this report. We've talked about it. It's kind of an energy that carries away, moves swiftly. It's a very aerial type of energy, something that moves swiftly into the air. So actually, these two cards together And the moon energy and then Mercury in and of itself could be about travel, and maybe even that's travel to another world, travels spiritually to another world. I mean, we've also been having a lot of interesting reports coming out about the UAPs, UFOs, whatever you want to say. That's very interesting. So we might expect to hear more about that on the 22nd. It could be in a very big way. So don't be surprised if that happens. But other than that, yeah, you could also use this type of energy for astral travel or astral projection. If you're into that sort of thing, it might be a good time to try and experiment with that. It could be the barrier between worlds could be a lot easier to pass through, and you could end up having better results than usual. So keep that in mind. Our next aspect on the 22nd is Moon square Uranus. Moon being at 25 degrees Leo and Uranus being at 25 degrees Taurus. So for this, we have the Three of Pentacles and the Three of Wands. Now, this combination of cards together in this regards makes it look like it's going to be, we're going to experience some challenges and difficulties in waiting for a plan to come together. It may not happen the way we want it to. It might take a little bit longer, but we need to keep pushing forward. There's been planning that's already happened. We've already put the pieces in place. However, it's just not coming together the way we'd hoped or as quickly as we would have liked. So that's what we want to be cautious of here. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. That just means that you just have to be patient, more patient than you're being now. So keep that in mind on the 22nd. Okay, our last aspect for the 22nd, we have the Sun square the Moon, Sun at 1 degree Sagittarius, Moon at 1 degree Virgo. And this is going to give us both the Nine of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands. So ordinarily speaking, this combination of cards together would kind of mean you're sitting in a space in which you're feeling you have enough and you have what you need. You feel very secure. But this is also about security in general, being that it's the Nine of Wands and then the Nine of Pentacles together. So it's a situation about security. And there can be challenges in your own personal security. You may not feel secure for whatever reason. Maybe there's a challenging encounter with others that can lead to you feeling insecure. But generally speaking, you have what you need and you're in a good place. It's just your own emotion that might get in the way of your own feeling, being that we have the Moon involved here in this challenging square. All right, Moon opposition Saturn on the 23rd. Moon in Virgo at 12 degrees and Saturn at 12 degrees in Pisces. So what we have here for this combination of minor arcana is the Two of Pentacles and the Two of Cups. So we kind of are looking at something that we're juggling, being as the Two of Pentacles is this gentleman kind of standing on one foot, kind of looking like he's holding the Two Pentacles there and he's shifting them around. So what you kind of have is a situation where it might be about juggling a relationship or multiple relationships, maybe some sort of exchange going on. You really have a situation where it could also be about media. Okay, the Two Pentacles can be about exchanges on the internet. So maybe it's a relationship you might be trying to get to know someone better online. It could be kind of an online dating type of situation. And then the Moon opposition Saturn kind of brings this conflicting energy perhaps, where you have this emotional response versus a very practical response. So that can also cause issues within relationships. Maybe one person wants to do something some way, another wants to do it the other, one being emotional versus more practical or logical. But that's what we're looking at for that sort of energy. It's not one of our more potent energy exchanges as compared to when we were looking at the Mercury Jupiter one at the beginning of the opening of this report. So this is an aspect that, yes, it can affect relationships, but I don't see it as kind of a destructive type of energy. It's not like it's going to end something. It can just be momentarily challenging, and I see that it can help us learn if we manage this opportunity correctly, and it can help us learn about our partner or whatever relationship it is that we're examining in this particular case. All right, our last aspect for the 23rd, we have the moon trine Venus. Moon at 14 degrees Virgo and Venus at 14 degrees Capricorn. We have the Four of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles for our degree placements. Now, together, these cards bring about kind of this interesting energy where it's very earthy. It can be about harvesting something from the ground. So maybe that's digging something up from the earth. Maybe we find buried treasure in a way, if you will. It's kind of a metaphor for who knows what, or it could be very literal. Maybe somebody digs something up and they find it's something of value. Or it can also be about holding on to things for too long, things that we expected to come to fruition that don't. But mostly it seems like it's going to be a positive type of thing, being that it's a trine. So that Venus energy being in there, maybe it's a love that's been cultivated for a long time. It's something devotional, something that maybe even motherly. So whatever it is that we're digging up, we're uncovering, it's going to be something positive is what I'm seeing here in this particular case. Okay, this will be our last part of the report here for November 24th. This is the last day, Sunday. And we're going to be looking at, firstly, we have the moon square Jupiter aspect here. 18 degrees Virgo sits our moon, and Jupiter sits at 18 degrees of Gemini. So the two main minor arcana we'll be looking at will be the Eight of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords. Okay, so with this square energy here between the moon and Jupiter, we have a situation in which it's a mostly inner conflict about wanting to take on too much work. Okay, so and we're completely doing this to ourselves, being that we're looking at the Eight of Swords. So something that we're binding ourselves up in by our own choice, and it can become a lot of work for us. So it's completely unnecessary, and that's the thing to realize. So if we have this sensation on the 24th here, please be wary of it and consider the fact that it's probably not necessary to do. There's other ways around it. You don't even have to do that at all. Okay, and it's completely brought upon by oneself. Okay, second to last aspect of this day is the moon square Mercury, moon at 22 degrees Virgo, and Mercury at 22 degrees Sagittarius. Okay, and so the minor arcana this generates for us would be the Three of Wands and the Three of Pentacles. Okay, so again, this is another aspect. We've had a similar aspect before, and that this is in regards to planning and foresight and putting the pieces in place. So this is another situation in which things are not quite ready yet. So we still feel agitated. We feel like things aren't moving forward the way we'd like them to. But again, this may require some patience. So stick to it and keep moving forward. Just don't get caught up in the energy of feeling like nothing is going to happen. Whether or not it actually does, it's kind of beyond your control at this point in time. The pieces have been set in motion, the Three of Wands, and the plans have also been set. Everything's been put forward in the Three of Pentacles. So you just kind of have to let it go and let it play out as it will at this point. Okay, the last aspect of our report will be moon trine Uranus, moon at 24 degrees Virgo and Uranus at 24 degrees Taurus. And this will generate the the minor arcana cards, the Five of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles. So this can be something that seems very easy for us, okay, but the cards themselves seem kind of very conflicting because we have the Five of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles. 10 being the sense that there is a sense of completion that we have everything we need. And then the 5 says, hey, we kind of feel like we're leaving something out. We don't have enough of something. So it's kind of voluntary simplicity in a way here, because we have what we need. It's just a matter of what we're valuing. Okay, so the moon and Uranus. Uranus is one of those, it's actually more of a mercurial planet in and of itself. It's very kind of wishy-washy in terms of flipping back and forth between being a boon and good windfall versus perhaps not great windfall. And then we kind of can feel like that when we have the 5 of Pentacles. So it can also be injury or illness. So maybe Uranus is not so kind to us this time around, and yet it's a trine, so it should be. We hope that it is, in terms of health and wealth. But just the 5 of Pentacles to me has always been one of those cards where it just seems like we always feel like we're lacking. Whether or not we truly are, there's just that emotional sense of lacking. But then the 10 of Pentacles should kind of counteract that, and we hope that it does. You have the sense of family values and togetherness, structure, completion. So I kind of see it as it can be kind of one or the other, especially with Uranus in the mix, and then the moon playing out wherever it does in terms of its cycle, and being that it's near the end of this cycle of the moon here. We're kind of heading towards a new moon. It's going to be kind of playing out one way or the other for us. Either it will be a positive windfall or something we feel is lacking. But it is positive in the sense that it's moving in the right direction for us. It will have a positive outcome. Whether or not we feel that way is something entirely different, okay, with the moon there. So that's kind of the issue I have with that, is just the fact that there's that 5 of Pentacles there. Okay, but that's it for our report today. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, please. We'll be changing and evolving our program as we continue forward. I'm going to continue to try and do the weekly aspect report, and then I'm also going to start to do I have been doing, I did my first new moon report for Scorpio, so there will be that. We'll be doing the new moon here shortly again at the end of the month. But for now, what we're doing is we're kind of mincing down the cards to a 2-card pool. Not that it's a pool, because this is a very accurate representation of where the degrees fall, the planets fall in terms of their degrees on a specific chart. And I already released that book. There's a book out there that gets into that a little bit called Arc for a Perilous Time. It does get into the system a bit. There will be a more detailed exploration of this astrological tarot system that's based on the Golden Dawn deckhand system. Okay, so be prepared for that in the future. That will be coming out. Please stick with me as this program evolves, and we'll get more used to how we do this report here. The two minor arcana will be the representation for the degrees, and then all the other major arcana will be the standard representations, such as their planet and signs as they are traditionally. So that will not change. The only thing that people may not be familiar with is how they play out in terms of the minor arcana with the degree placement. That has been developed from, again, the Golden Dawn representation of the deckhands. So I've gone ahead and parsed that out. This is my own system, and it is fairly accurate. So stick with me. Again, please like and subscribe. Thanks.
ज्योतिष का ज्ञान यह रहस्य, astrology's knowledge deep as sea. नक्षत्र कहानियाँ कहता यहाँ, constellations tell their stories to thee. कुंडलिनी जगाओ, आत्मा जागृत करो, awaken kundalini, let your spirit rise. ऊर्जा भीतर से बहती है, energy flows from deep inside.